Swallowed Star. As the white-robed Yuka and Qian left with the 8 envoys, Luo Feng left the palace too. So, he became a beam of green light rushing into the sky, quickly reaching his huge pit quarters. Undying Shrine, Beast God Statue. Luo Feng looked at the skies. He could see 1,000 li in the sky, and there, a dark purple disc-shaped ship floated around. Beast God Statue. Luo Feng recalled the statue. Howl. Li. Looking at that statue was almost like looking at a live ancient beast itself. Through the statue and its mysterious energy, he could feel the ancient beast's first call seen. Such artistic grace, unleashing an attack that could destroy the entire land and skies, it was so natural. The ancient beast's claw was one that was infused with both universe laws and ground and sky laws. It came into contact with almost every law. Looking at the beast statue, the golden horned beast too had some revelations. It could use this to understand how to improve in its training. Maybe the statue wasn't as godly as the 9 universe tablet. However, to the golden horned beast, its importance was maybe even higher than the 9 universe tablet to it. The only thing was that the statue was protected by 2 sector lords now. Humph, Luo Feng thought, and entered his huge pit quarters. Blood River World Space, Tianshi Palace. This palace was located in space. In terms of size, it wasn't smaller than a planet. Ah, His Majesty Luo Feng's automaton ship has entered Blood River World. Luo Feng's ship, it's been in space for so long. Why enter it now? He's preparing to return. Be on your toes. The group of sector lords didn't dare relax. Right now, Luo Feng was heavily favored by the upper echelons of the Virtual Universe Company. In terms of position, he was much higher than the group of sector lords. 15th cloud level, the dark purple disc-shaped ship was flying swiftly. In the 18th cloud level, disguised fully as a cloud was a silver-white pyramid automaton ship. It too was swiftly flying. In terms of speed and flexibility, this undying automaton ship was much better in many aspects compared to the Yun Mo planet ship, much less the technologically backward ships of Blood River World. Automaton ship, control room. Black-clothed Luo Feng sat in the sofa. A light screen appeared before it, and on it there was a marker. Beast God Statue, I definitely have to get it. The 9 universe tablet, it's hard to get even one chance to study it, and each time, there is a allowed study period of only 7 days. And this statue, is extremely important to the golden horn beast. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. In the vast universe, the strong preyed on the weak, and many races were destroyed and extinct due to this law of the jungle. Everything was based on strength. No matter what, I have to get it. Luo Feng thought. Master, the target has been acquired. Currently maintaining a distance of 1.6 million kilometers. The AI from the automaton ship spoke. Activate Star Annihilator Cannon. Luo Feng said coldly. Yes. The ship's AI wouldn't defy him in the least. A voice however resounded in the control room, shouting, Luo Feng, what are you doing? Why are you activating the Star Annihilator Cannon? That's a Star Annihilator Cannon, and is comparable to an Undying's full attack. Just one shot can completely destroy a planet. The amount of energy used is shocking too. The automaton's reserves aren't that much, your one shot will use 1/3 of the reserves. While Babata was shouting in rage. The control room resounded with the AI's voice, Star Annihilator Cannon 1 countdown, 60, 59, 58. There's a treasure I need to get from that ship. Black-clothed Luo Feng said coldly. Damn, is there a treasure that requires you to use this cannon? A Star Annihilator cannon is one of the pinnacle weapons in the entire human race of the universe. One shot is akin to an Undying's full attack. However, because of its dispersed attack, it cannot be as condensed as a true Undying, hence it cannot kill an Undying. However, anything under an Undying will definitely be reduced to ashes. Aren't you worried that the treasure you want will be destroyed too? The black-clothed Luo Feng said coldly, "That's a statue made of jade gold from Blood River continent." Jade gold? Babata seemed to realize, muttering, "What a waste." 18 beast god statues were from an era before a war over trillions of years ago. Most of them had been retrieved, yet none of them seemed to be damaged in the least. Obviously, to actually damage these statues was extremely hard. Even the Undyings found it hard to do. Even if one broke through a space ring, with the space inside broken, the statues would still remain unharmed. Even after an Undying is killed, the statues were still in perfect condition. Undying Shrine. 30, 29, 28, the countdown in the control room continued. About 1.6 million kilometers from the automaton ship, the dark purple ship was flying. Whether it was the automaton race or the human race, they mostly battled in space. Since the area in space was vast and unlimited, their scanning radius was naturally huge too. Much less this, automaton ship was made from a race of technology, which was equal to an Undying. If it were detected by the ship made by the backward Blood River continent, that would be a joke. Within the dark purple ship. Yuka, that Baki sure is arrogant. I painstakingly went all the way there, yet he didn't even smile at me. The fox-like youth Qian sat crossed-legged, lifting a wine glass and saying dissatisfied. Baki was also known as Blood God. He made his name because of his madness and slaughter. He may be closer to his blood god guards. However, to others, he's always been cold. The white-robed Yuka shook his head and smiled. There is no way around it. Baki is a genius of 1,000,000,000 years, hence he can back his arrogance. We can only accept it. The fox-like youth simply snorted coldly. In front of Baki earlier, he was affectionate and friendly. However, now he couldn't hide it anymore. Qian. The white-robed Yuka changed the subject. You giving this beast god statue to the Undying Shrine this time will get you a huge reward. Haha, the fox-like youth smiled the moment he thought of the reward. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Energy storing complete. Within the silver-white pyramid's control room, black-clothed Luo Feng sat in the sofa. His eyes gleamed coldly as he ordered, "Fire." The silver-white pyramid was 200 m tall. With the order within the control room, "Fire." Chi. The light ball at the tip became a light pillar with a diameter of 300 m and immediately followed the calculated path from the AI within the ship and fired out. Within the dark purple ship. The fox-like youth was still smiling. "Yuka, you relax, this." Chi. The 300 m diameter light pillar immediately passed right through the purple ship. That ship's diameter was but about 100 m, it was completely engulfed by the light pillar. Under this terrifying attack, the two sector lords within the ship Qian and Yuka could only stare wide-eyed in fear and were reduced to nothing. The other 8 envoys within didn't even have time to react and were destroyed. Pine. The space rings all broke apart one by one, and all the stored spaces within too were sliced open, with large amounts of items within being reduced to dust. However, within the fox-like Qian's ring, there were several items that managed to survive the light pillar's attack. Especially that beast god statue. Even after the space was destroyed, it was perfectly undamaged, almost like this attack was nothing but a gust of wind against it. The light pillar immediately reduced the ship to dust. Simultaneously, a 300 m diameter cavity appeared in the wilderness of the ancient god ruins below. The light pillar condensed and gathered, and finally a huge explosion occurred. Rumble, tens of thousands of km around exploded. The area at the middle of the explosion was decimated, and countless rubble and stones flew everywhere. Star Annihilator Cannon. The truth that just one shot could destroy an entire planet was not a joke at all. At the depths of the huge pit, within the palace. Such a strong energy ripple. Who is it? So. Two silhouettes, one blood god Baki and another Chi Nyo, swiftly rushed towards the energy ripple. Even the two captains of the blood god guards swiftly rose into the skies. All these characters flew out of the huge pit and headed towards the terrifying energy ripples. What's going on? Why has the Lord left? The blood god guards all rose into the skies and flew out of the huge pit. Luo Feng too followed suit. Baki, blood god guards. Luo Feng looked at the guards swiftly flying out, thinking, it's time to say goodbye. So. As blood god Baki rushed towards the energy ripples, Luo Feng rushed into the skies and simultaneously took off his wrist communicator, tossing the hard-to-destroy communicator deep into the pit. He himself swiftly flew through the 18 cloud levels, and as the automaton ship drew close, he vanished into his internal world. A huge crater with a diameter of tens of thousands of km could be seen. Blood god Baki and Chi Nyo floated in mid-air, gazing down at the size of the crater, and were utterly shocked. There's no trace of origin law ripples. Blood god Baki's face revealed shock. This isn't an Undying's attack. It's the outsiders. Chi Nyo's eyes too were filled with shock. Inform the shrine, immediately inform the shrine. And in the space above Blood River World, the automaton ship disguised as a meteorite flew. Luo Feng lay in the sofa, lifting a wine glass, and looked at the beast god statue that emitted a terrifying energy. He smiled happily and said, 1/3 of the energy reserves were used to exchange for a beast god statue. It's definitely worth it. With such a small capital investment, I've gotten a huge profit indeed. Look at your smug face. The energy-formed silhouette of the demon Babata mocked. How can I not be satisfied? Luo Feng put down the wine glass and lifted the beast god statue. Looking ahead at the vast space, it was dreamy and filled with dust and fog. Meteorites could also be seen everywhere. Looking at the endless space, Luo Feng's spirit rose. Looking down at the beast god statue, he almost felt as though the statue had become a live ancient beast that was roaring. This beast itself seemed to embody the laws. The golden-horned beast within his internal world also raised its head to howl, resounding throughout the entire internal world. This is it. It's the strongest thing I can rely on. His eyes gleamed. While staring at the statue, he said, with this statue, comprehending that first claw will be much faster. This will also make my path to understanding the other paths easier and smoother. I want to stand at the peak of the universe, and this will pave the way to achieve that. My greatest reward from this Blood River world is this beast god statue. Luo Feng thought. The Masha clansman appeared next to him. The black-clothed Luo Feng immediately received the statue and disappeared within the internal world. Within the internal world. Howl. The golden-horned beast had its own storage ring. As it frequently trained deities of the world etc., it required a space to retrieve its own treasures to swallow. It stored the storage ring within the slits of its chest scales. Generations of golden-horned beasts too had placed their storage items within that slit, mainly because there was a space there that was actually suitable to place items. Within the control room of the automaton ship, Luo Feng looked ahead at the space, ordering, "Let's go, head to Mengna City. Mengna City. Demon Babata opened his mouth in shock. Luo Feng looked at the virtual image of Babata beside and nodded his head. Back then I placed Naku in Mengna City, and it's been 80 years already. Who knows what's happened to him? I gave him some treasures back then, the treasures could move his heart. Hence, before leaving I want to go take a look, since Tianshi Palace is that direction too. The space close to Swallow Mound territory was the closest to Tianshi Palace. For Luo Feng to return, he'd have to first head to Tianshi Palace, and since it was along the way, visiting Naku was a natural thing to do. Rumble. The automaton ship swiftly flew, quickly becoming a blurry light in space. Ancient god ruins, the Star Annihilator cannon had left a huge crater there. Baki, who was dressed in his blood robe, and the mountain-like wild beast Chi Nyo along with the over 90 blood god guards all stationed themselves about the edges of the crater. Rumble. The skies shook. Greetings Undying. Baki bowed respectfully. God. The guards all knelt down orderly, even Chi Nyo lowered his head. This gray-armored old man gazed at the 10,000 kilometers diameter crater. Rumble. Rumble. His gaze was like the sun, shooting out two light pillars, which pierced straight into the deep crater. It was almost as though he could see entirely through the red thick aura within the crater. Undying. Baki opened his mouth. Within this group, his status was the closest to that of an Undying. However, in terms of power, of course the Undying was still more powerful. This crater. The old man's voice was powerful and deep. There's no sense of laws, the terrifying attack that created this crater is indeed not one of an Undying. However, in terms of power, it's definitely comparable to the full power of an Undying. Only the outsider's valuable technological weapons can create something of this level. Looks like it's really the outsiders. Baki nodded. This is very serious. The stone-armored old man frowned, saying solemnly. Because of this huge crater. The Undying Shrine had already discussed this with the highest priority. According to that terrifying ancient battle before, from all the data that we've collected. Even from the outsiders, weapons with power comparable to an Undying are highly unlikely. Indeed. The only ones that had truly reached the pinnacle of technology was the automaton race. These few years, there would frequently be outsiders entering our Blood River continent. The stone-armored old man frowned. We caught all we could and killed all we could. However, these are small matters. This time, however, for someone to have such a powerful weapon, the person who's invaded our world must have a very high status. Baki nodded. Also, according to the world leader Qian and Yuka's ship, their signal was cut halfway in this region. Right here, they met with a tragic end. The stone-armored old man said. Obviously the enemy used this weapon to attack from far, destroying the ship and killing both Qian and Yuka. This level of technological attack, those two couldn't even defend against. Even Bakiyu wouldn't have 1% of surviving that attack. Baki's body shuddered. Technological weapon. It was actually so powerful. Be on high alert. The stone-armored old man said. You are our Blood River continent's rare genius of 1 trillion years. If you were killed by a technological weapon, that would be the worst possible result. Baki nodded. Gritting his teeth, he asked unsatisfied, are we to simply just bear with this? Not retaliating? And he was an ancient survivor of that battle. Back then, he was only a sector lord, he didn't truly participate in the battle, otherwise he would have died long ago. However, he knew many secrets to that ancient battle. Our Blood River continent's power is still far too weak. The stone-armored old man replied. We cannot think of retaliating yet, we can only train well. Everything relies on power. As for this matter, you don't need to bother with it, the outsiders rarely send someone so important. Our undying shrine will not be careless too. If we catch him, we may know more secrets from that person. Over 1 trillion years, the undying shrine had indeed caught a few universe geniuses. Baki nodded. So. The stone-armored old man became a bolt of lightning and flashed, vanishing from the skies. As an undying, that old man's speed was even faster than the ships their undying shrine had built. Lord! Blood God Guard's 2 captains came over, the others all hadn't heard Baki's conversation with the undying. I told you all to send a message to all the world leaders to check on any news of 97. Have you done that? Baki looked at the 2 captains. Lord! The captain number 1 said respectfully. We've already sent out the messages. However, Lord, are we not to investigate personally? I suspect 97 could still be in the area. We don't have time to investigate. However, Baki never would have thought that 97 didn't need to stay at all in Blood River Continent. Because his true limits were the endless vast universe. The automaton was disguised as a meteorite, and after about 2 months of flying in space, it finally reached Meng Na City space. Master, we've arrived at Meng Na City. The automaton ship AI said. Sitting crossed-legged in the control room, Luo Feng, who was studying the universe wonders, opened his eyes and smiled. Little Naku, I hope you are still alive. His earth body sat in the automaton ship. He let the Masha body fly out before flying back into space. Shwa. Black-robed Luo Feng walked in the luxurious bustling streets of Meng Na City. With a little energy usage, he could easily reform the body. As long as the core was fine, the 3 bodies were essentially undying. The core was Luo Feng's true core. Ahead is Yudao sect. Luo Feng walked along the streets, buying little snacks along the way to eat, and casually gazing about. I ordered Naku back then strictly to not leave this place unless he reached cloud level, universe level. He should have listened to me. After a while, Luo Feng stood in the streets. Looking at the luxurious mansion, there was a tag on the door. This is the NI residence, don't hang around the entrance, make way. Black-clothed punk, move to the side. The 2 guards at the door ordered. Luo Feng's expression was ugly, looking at the 2 guards. Rumble. The 2 guards felt as though the land and skies about them vanished. The black-clothed youth before them, his formless pressure, caused them both to crumble. I'm asking you, where's the Yudao sect? Black-clothed Luo Feng asked coldly. Yudao sect, it was destroyed long ago. The 2 guards said in shock. At this time, the oncoming traffic of people couldn't hear anything. They could only see the 2 guards speaking to the black-clothed youth, not hearing anything they said. Luo Feng's gaze focused. Tell me in detail what happened to the Yudao sect. Yes, yes. We'll speak. The 2 guards immediately began to explain in detail about how after the Yudao sect was destroyed and how someone came to avenge it later. In the dark night, the Masha clansmen left Meng Na City without a trace, returning to the automaton ship in the sky. Within the control room, Luo Feng sat in the sofa. His expression was cold, as he said softly, depart toward Swallow Mound City. The automaton ship immediately accelerated and headed toward Swallow Mound City. What's up, Luo Feng? The demon Babata too sat in the sofa. Around 50 years ago, the Yudao sect was destroyed. Luo Feng frowned. The elite strength was simply wiped out and the entire sect was destroyed, and it was actually the earliest disciple of the sect that did it. About 30 years ago, a silver-haired spirit reader appeared and killed that culprit before leaving. What about little Na-ko? Demon Babata asked. According to what the two guards told me, I suspect that silver-haired spirit reader was Na-ko. Luo Feng said. Back then, I left him spirit reader training methods. If my guess isn't wrong, Na-ko would very likely have headed toward Swallow Mound City. Demon Babata nodded. So. The automaton ship was swiftly flying in the space above the Blood River world. One day later, it reached the space above the Swallow Mound territory. Following the same procedure, he left his core in his earth body in the automaton ship. The Mwasha clansmen dived through the cloud levels and headed toward Swallow Mound City. Night time. The cold winds howled, and in a forest 10 million kilometers outside Swallow Mound City, within a particular cave. Crackle. The fire crackled, giving the entire cave warmth. Father. A tall silver-haired youth laid a mat on the ground. Some food appeared in his hand, let's eat. We fled so far in one go, and we are at least 10 million km away from Swallow Mound City. And we never entered the city, remaining in the wilderness. Searching pointlessly for us won't be an easy task for them. Father. The silver-haired youth shook his head. This is how it all happened. Na-ko began to tell him in detail of what happened back then. Nabu listened with his eyes opened wide. I actually agreed for you to follow Lord Feng. And had him wipe my memories. Nabu was shocked, after which he smiled. I would indeed do that. Tell me, over these many years. Looking at you, you seem to have suffered quite a bit. The aboriginals of Blood River world were born ground level, star traveler, and in the vast surroundings, it had resulted in many special bloodlines in the world. The Na family. The bloodline was special too. After maturing, their hair would turn silver. It's like this, back then when Big Brother Feng took me. The silver-haired youth said indifferently, that night I fled Meng Na City, I vowed to take revenge for my teacher. I bumped into another teacher at Tong Lien Mountain. I then separated from my two brothers and headed to Swallow Mound City alone. Arriving here, I controlled my bones and muscles to change my appearance. Plus, many of the warriors from back then couldn't recognize me. Since I'm a cloud level right now, with a scan, I discovered the family was destroyed but you were still alive. I knew that it was a trap. Hence, I first entered the city leader's mansion to become a general, after half a year. Na-ko spoke for more than an hour before finally finishing his 80-year story. His son had indeed experienced quite a lot. Meng Na City, Tong Lien Mountain, Flame Eye Clan, every bit of Na-ko's experiences, every life or death struggle, had completely trained him. You've grown up. Nabu exclaimed softly. The one I am most grateful for is Big Brother Feng. The silver-haired youth smiled. He had prepared so much for me, and because of that, I was able to withstand each and every setback and stand back up. Finally reaching cloud level, however cloud level isn't my final goal. My goal is to reach the domain level and even the world level. Nabu nodded, pleased. His gamble back then was right. Within Swallow Mound City. City leader's mansion. You are saying you can't find him? The purple-clothed lady stood in the hall, coldly staring at the city leader Puyangwan before her. Puyangwan bowed slightly in fear. Yes, the subordinates, they. Explain. The purple-clothed seductive lady's eyes gleamed. It's the subordinates' mistake. I've already sent a 1,000,000-strong army to go search. Puyangwen's head was filled with sweat, because he was only a low-level domain level while this lady before him was a high-level domain level, and she was also the world leader Si Yong's favorite disciple. She could easily destroy him. And the only thing he was supposed to do was to keep an eye on Nabu. But, since he messed that up, how could he not be fearful? Idiot. Useless. Puyang was stunned. Get out, get out, get out. The lady raged. Yes. Puyang retreated. He waited till he exited the building. His face originally filled with fear, but suddenly his eyes gleamed with dissatisfaction. Right, I am an idiot. If I weren't one before, why did you support me to becoming the city leader back then? Just wait, once my master gives the order, we'll see who's the real idiot is. Within the hall. The seductive lady glanced at Puyang, shaking her head and smiling coldly. So useless, luckily back then I didn't place any hopes on that idiot. D. The communication device, compared to the universe ship's construction, was trillions of times easier to make. Those sector lords had given these devices to their important underlings. The purple-clothed lady, as the right and left-hand woman of world leader Si-Yong, acquiring these communication devices was very easy. The distance is really 10 million kilometers. The lady smiled. I'm in no rush to catch them. I'll first observe. I am sure that silver-haired man will bring Nabu to go see that mysterious warrior Feng. The silver-haired seductive lady immediately sent a message to her teacher Si-Yong. Following which she flew out of the mansion alone, rushing into the sky in the night, headed towards Nabu and Naku. She is the strongest within Swallow Mound City. The activation of the Swallow Mound Army, according to the investigation, is to look for Nabu and the silver-haired general. That silver-haired spirit reader general should be Naku. And that lady, flying out so late at night, she should know their location. A black silhouette followed the purple-haired lady from behind. I'll not alert him first. Teacher will be here soon, then we'll take the chance to catch Feng. That mysterious Feng, he actually dared to kill my 2 seniors and the undying shrine envoys, he deserves to die. The purple-haired lady stood on a branch of a 3 m thick huge tree, staring coldly into the distance, and completely hiding her presence. Domain lords were indeed proficient in hiding their presence. At this time, from behind her a black-clothed man stood. The purple-clothed lady seemed to realize something and looked back suspiciously. When she saw the black-robed Luo Feng in mid-air behind, her expression changed. Black-clothed. Black short hair. Youth. You are Feng. The lady's expression was serious, staring hard at the black-robed man. Looking for me? Congratulations, you found me. The black-clothed Luo Feng nodded. Xiao. Her eyes flashed and immediately unleashed a spirit attack, simultaneously using a spirit weapon to attack. Wang. A beautiful flash of a blade. Its resplendence was intoxicating. The purple-clothed lady couldn't help but get shocked, following which her consciousness fell deep into darkness. The flash disappeared and Luo Feng kept his blood shadow blade back into his storage ring and grabbed the lady's neck. She had a small wound on her stomach. The blade went through the wound and pierced right through her life core, causing her death. In terms of power, currently, the Golden Horned Beast and Masha clansmen were both domain level 9. And in terms of power, not level, they were absurdly powerful. With the Masha clansman able to unleash 10 times its original power, it was terrifying. Who is it? In the cave, the silver-haired Naku's expression changed, standing at the entrance of the cave. It's me. The black-clothed Luo Feng walked over from mid-air, carrying the body of the purple-clothed lady. Feng, big brother Feng. The silver-haired Naku stared wide-eyed. Feng, Lord Feng. Nabu was very shocked too. The silver-haired youth looked at the body Luo Feng held, even more shocked. This this is the third disciple of world leader Si Yong, she,